Good evening, everyone. Hello. Welcome in. Happy Wednesday. No, it's not Wednesday. It's Thursday. This week is crazy. It's flying. How is everyone? Thanks for stopping in. Thanks for checking it out. My name is Jason, aka Woo Woo J Train. We're gonna have fun tonight. I always love streaming with guests, with people who want to hop on here, and one of my favorites is definitely our guest for the evening, Dark Sheep. What's
Oh,
up,
did
man?
did you have a different guest tonight?
No. It's you. You're
Oh,
you're you're on the
hey!
short list. You're on the short list of people I like. I'm just kidding. Um, guys, we are actually sitting in a lobby right now because it was empty. So if you want to join, go ahead and hop on in here. We need 7 more right now. But let's knock the introductions out of the way. I don't really think that Sheep needs much of an introduction, but you can find him on Twitter X at D4rksh33p _. He also heads up the Stacking Dingers guys. And you need to check out that YouTube channel. The Stacking Dingers channel is a wonderful place for content for people who are new to this game and people who've been around and everywhere in between. So definitely make sure to check out his personal channel for the sheep seats and also the Stacking Dingers channel. So welcome in, Dark Sheep.
Thank you,
Matt, thanks for popping
thank
in
you.
with me, man.
It's great to be here. Yeah, I think uh, stacking dingers is so important because it's like the only thing out there. So by default, you should watch it.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys do great work, man. I mean, I try to. I haven't made it all the way through the outfield episode, but I mean, everything that I've seen you guys do this year has just been awesome. So
Yeah, we will get the second another 2 hours of outfielder talk. Will be out tomorrow.
perfect.
Uh, we got Spencer back and a different guest. Billy sat this one out, so yeah, it'll be good. And we got pitching week next week, and then we're gonna start looking at divisions. So
Awesome.
uh,
Fantastic. Can't wait. I did not get the 10th or 11th pick on stream.
yay!
This is you. This is the Dark Sheep luck here. Saints go is with Judge, so I'm gonna get my first Dinger Otani share in almost 50 drafts. There it
Wow.
is. Yeah,
All right. Well, I'm gonna get nuts tonight.
do it.
This is something I've been sitting on doing a couple of times already.
Perfect.
We're going Bobby Witt number 3.
I like it. I mean, I think you could definitely make a case. Like he could. I mean, it's going to take a lot for him to outscore Otani and Judge, but like if you squint, you could see him being the highest scoring person in the entire contest.
Yeah. So we talked about it at the start of the top of the outfielders. We had that discussion, and after I kind of suggested it, I started thinking about it more, and I like it a lot. So, I think there's a chance, that he outscores Soto, and it's kind of like a 2 versus 2 scenario. Who you're going to take with him in the second round?
And you also don't sacrifice, like you don't really miss out on great outfielders drafting Witt at the 3 or 4. Like when it comes back, there's going to be probably 1 or 2 at least guys that you want to draft, you
Right.
know. Whereas if you wait on Ellie, or if you take Ellie, depending on where he falls, you may kind of lock yourself out of that first tier of outfielder, and it's going to force you to get into the mix with, like Michael Harris or Spencer Steer, that tier of outfielders, which I really kind of don't like. So structurally, like Bobby Witt, even though I prefer to go outfielder with my first pick, I never feel bad about taking him, ever.
Yeah, absolutely.
Real quick, I want to acknowledge people out here in the chat. So Crew hopped in, noticed the Garrett Mitchell in the thumbnail. That's kind of a bit that goes back a year or two with me and Sheep, but got to give one of his Brewers guys a shout. Nick, thanks for showing up. Sheep is looking good tonight, guys. Absolutely.
I got my flannel jacket and my hat because I didn't shower today, so I'm feeling great too.
Perfect.
It was a full work from home uniform today.
one of those days. It was a cold one here, and if it was cold here, I'm sure it's cold up there. But yeah, Saints a 102 on stream. This is probably Numi's gonna get a hold of this and throw it out for sure.
He's busy trying to hack everybody's accounts.
Yeah. Nick's got wit is his 101. That is
there
not
we go,
crazy
Nick.
at all. He can 40-50 with 220 counting stats. Absolutely. Like I could see him being the highest scoring person in the entire contest. It'd be a little difficult, but like, would I be shocked if it happened? Absolutely not.
Yeah, I mean, I think you need 2 injuries to do that, but
correct.
Yeah, totally interesting. And I've gotten comfortable with, and maybe you have too, is just starting with an infielder. I know you said you like the outfielder, but when you're getting so many late picks, sometimes you just kind of get comfortable with the early infielder.
Yeah. The randomizer hasn't been nice to me with my pick allocation. Go ahead and do your thing. You're on the clock.
So, having a tough time deciding here. Yeah, let's do this. Let's just do a minor scroll and do Brent Rooker, who I've been, trying to make up for my hate last year.
Okay. Part of me wants to do the Ohtani, Freeman, Teoscar thing if I can do it, but I feel like that's going to be popular. Like I feel like that's going to be chalk, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's Ohtani, Freeman, and Teoscar.
True. Let's do this. I'm good with pretty much any of these outfielders here, so I'm just going to go ahead and lock in Freeman. Let's do at least a 2-man.
I like that.
You're true. We don't have to worry about chalk as much in a best ball type contest. And T.O.'s still there, so let's just do it. Let's go ahead and do full Dodgers stack. I never feel bad about stacking Dodgers, and nobody should.
All right. So let's get a little Jackson Merrill to go here. He was part of the decision. When I was making that last pick, I was looking at Rooker. I was looking at Merrill, maybe a Langford for a Texas stack, because I'm trying to get my Texas exposure up out of 0%.
Yeah.
But I also considered taking Freddie to maybe think if you didn't want to take Teoscar, maybe if you wanted to skip that. But went with Rooker. So
yeah, I think Freddie was going to happen no matter what for me there. It was just, do I want to get more Wyatt? Because I don't have much Wyatt Langford. You can't really access him unless you scroll pretty far if you have like a 6th through 12th pick or whatever, which is basically where I've been living the last couple weeks. But yeah, Nick again kind of bringing up the comparison to football. You needed Amon-Ra St. Brown and CeeDee Lamb were like mega chalk at the 11-12 in BBM a year or two ago. And like, even though they were mega chalk, if you didn't have them in the final, like, you were dead. So I think his point about not worrying too much about, chalky starts is valid. Because I don't really feel like you win or lose drafts necessarily in the first couple rounds. Like, everybody's team should be pretty damn good after the first couple rounds. It's like the mid to late where you really gotta get stuff right.
Yeah, and I mean, when you're doing it on the potentially best team ever, not just this year, like, why not?
Yeah. Justin's positing Durant can be better this year. I mean, he can be, but it feels like with his profile, and I'll kind of lean on you. I mean, you guys on the Stacking Dingers side just do really, really in-depth kind of data dives on this stuff, but it kind of feels like we're drafting Jarren Duran at his ceiling price. It doesn't mean I think he's a bad pick. I have, a few shares of him, but I just don't know how much more juice is there with his profile. You know, he's not like a mega power guy like all these dudes are drafting around him.
Yeah, I mean, I'll admit that I still have, blinders, PTSD, whatever, on Jaron Duran. He certainly can be better. Like you said, Bregman's there now. I think that team has an offensive potential like very few teams. Dodgers, Yankees, Red Sox. I don't know. I'm just kind of naming maybe Rangers. I mean, yeah. Like I said, I've been getting into a lot of Rangers. I have a lot of questions about their top tier pieces. But when it comes to that Boston lineup, it seems really good. Yeah, he says he has steals and triples. So the thing is that he got there with 735 plate appearances, right? So
it's a lot of plate appearances.
That's a lot. Mm-hmm. That's 160 games. I think he's more of a accumulator than you want to admit.
I just gravitate more towards these, spiky power bats usually. We've got a nice fall in Spencer Steer here. I'm a little worried about his injury. He might fall a little bit more as more news comes out. I really don't know what to do here, actually.
I guess I didn't even notice. Start throwing fairly soon. Okay.
Let's do Seiya. I'm going to go with Suzuki here.
Okay.
Went with Jazz kind of at the turn there. You guys talked me into Jazz. Stacking Dinger's crew talked me into Jazz. I've been dating him since he became an infielder. But you guys make great points about, like I should be viewing him in the same way that I view Mike Trout, truly. Like, let's just put the injuries to the side. What is his upside in Yankee Stadium if he just stays healthy the entire season? And I think his upside is pretty freaking massive.
Yeah. Yeah. He's got Jaron Duran upside. No.
Yeah. True. Maybe a little, I think he profiles a little bit more power-wise, doesn't he?
Not quite.
Not quite. Really. Yeah.
A little bit. But yeah. They are kind of similar in how they get their speed and a little bit of power.
And truthfully, with Soto being gone, the Yankees really need Jazz to be that dude. Nobody's going to replace Soto, but for them to not take a pretty decent step backwards, he needs to stay on the field and he needs to be really good.
Yeah. It's still strange to me that Jazz fit as a Yankee, but he did because, he's in Miami, the party zone, that personality should fit that team, but then just, especially when Don Mattingly was there, he was not a Jazz Chisholm fan. He just sit him all the time.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just think the 30-40 possibility there is potentially there. I should warn you and everybody if I go mute for a little bit because my wife is going home soon and the dogs will go crazy. So just a heads up if I go silent for a little bit.
That's all right.
Not because I'm ignoring you.
I'll just stare blankly into the camera so we have some nice dead air time. We got Brad in here. Thanks for coming in, man. He's done the Freeman Teoscar with Witt and Judge also. Yeah, I mean, that's a great combo. Billy Jones. I mean, this is where the hard hitting math that you're gonna get from the Stacking Dingers crew. Wide biceps plus Adolis forehead equals offense. Good luck refuting that. Simple math. I have actually gotten to quite a bit of Adolis Garcia. I don't really love Adolis Garcia, but his price this year feels much more palatable than in years past. And I mean, he does have, 35 home run upside. It's just which version of Adolis Garcia are we going to get? Is it going to be the 2023 version, or is it going to be the 2024 version, which was just bad?
Yeah, I mean, just him, Semyon, Seager, just I don't know. They all scare me. So if they all are scaring me on an individual basis, I should maybe be worried about the team. I don't know. That's kind of where I've gotten to the idea of what I've been doing is
Okay.
soft fading them. But like I
Yeah,
said,
and
I want to change that.
they were one of my favorite, and still are one of my favorite offenses. I had concerns when I was drafting him earlier in the bullpen and prior to this news, but I'm growing increasingly concerned that Evan Carter's back is dead. So I'm hoping that that's not the case. But
Well, it's funny at the start of camp, the news came out maybe Semyon's not going to lead off, right? So that implies that someone else has to lead off, and against righties, Evan Carter is the on base guy, right?
yeah,
The hit tool guy. So then you're like, oh, okay, it's gonna be Evan Carter. Maybe my worry on him is gone, and then and maybe this is just overblowing. This is like Judge's toe last year, but they're talking about. I mean, the headline here is his health is to be monitored closely, and he says that what he has is a personal issue he doesn't want to talk about. So it's
right, which is not good. Like if it is like day 2 of spring training and you're like already sick of talking about your back, that's probably not a good sign.
Absolutely. All right. We're just packing this outfield right now.
I love it.
With some youths.
I have drafted Dylan Cruz a grand total of 1 time. That is my propensity to avoid rookies coming out. Like, I'm not really worried about Dylan Cruz killing me.
Sure.
But he's really fun, and sometimes I like fun, so maybe I should be taking him a little bit more. But that Washington offense is kind of weird for me. Like, James Wood is extremely expensive. I have a hard time clicking him. I don't know if I'm a CJ Abrams believer. And Cruz feels a little expensive for me too. But those guys are also very, very fun, and I want to see them perform well. It's just I have a really hard time getting to those guys.
Yeah, and Wood now with the quad tendonitis stuff is not exactly where you want to be on a guy who's, you want speed and power from. If he's got quad issues already, that can be a lingering thing. Hopefully not.
That seems suboptimal, We have a question from Justin here for you. What do you think of the Skeens Screwball stack?
I think it is a waste of at least 1 pick. Maybe it's a waste of 1.5 picks. I'm still putting it out there that first round pitcher is not completely dead, but we've seen time and time again just pitchers not separating and injury. Well, every pitcher has an injury risk, so it's silly to say that's the reason. But yeah, you're just giving up so much projected hitting points. That's the simple answer, right? Yeah. You're giving up the projected hitting points for 2 ace. You're saying, oh, playoffs, I'm going to get 2 starts from both these guys, which they're going to be at the top of the rotation. Maybe it happens. But how's the rest of your lineup catch up to the people that have Ohtani let's say Judge and Wyatt Langford? I don't know, just a random combo.
Right. I feel like I've done it a couple times, like in the bullpen. I don't think I've done it in this regular season slate. Just kind of playing around with builds and stuff.
Yeah.
if they both fall, so if you have to take them 1-2 as like your first, second picks or whatever, which you don't really have to do, but like if you can somehow sneak in 2 top tier bats and have them both fall, like, okay, I could see it. Regardless, if you're going to do it, if you're going to do the Skeens screwball thing, I think the only way to draft that team is to shut off pitcher until, and I'm not joking, round 14, 15, something like that. Because if you have to draft that team as if you are absolutely 100% correct, like these 2 guys are going to give me a score every single time that they pitch. Because if that's wrong, your team's dead already. So you might as well draft that team like you're 100% correct, and those guys are going to be absolutely insane, and you can kind of backfill the end of your rotation with more volume guys. I think that's really the only way to do it, that I would want to do it if I was doing it in this contest.
Nick took my guy Matt Chapman there. What do we want to do here? I only got 1 pitcher and 1 infielder.
Yeah, you got a funky build going on. I like it.
I do.
We'll do a team recap after we get all the way back around here.
Infield. Let's see, when's my next pick? All right.
It's pretty gross.
We're going to take Luis Castillo. I don't know.
Smart.
Don't take a bunch of him. But
I know he's a Dodgers pitcher, but I'm going to go with Yamamoto. I don't care that they're going to have a 6-man rotation as much. He's just very, very good, and I feel like he's too cheap.
There you go. Yeah, I like getting these guys as they fall. We already had. I mean, I don't mean to laugh because it was pretty gruesome looking, or scary looking when Bobby Miller got hit in the head on a comebacker.
Yeah.
But it took two innings or 2 1/3 innings before a Dodgers pitcher got hurt already this year. So
yeah, I'm just, in a lot of cases, I'm just picking pitchers that I think are very, very good at pitching and not really worrying about the 2-start, because it's not projectable. The 2-start thing is just luck. Yeah, obviously, if there's a 6-man rotation, there's a lesser likelihood that somebody's going to get a 2-start week. So I totally understand that, but it's not going to stop me from drafting pitchers who are just really good at what they do.
Yeah, I find myself just going Glasnow the most because he's the cheapest one.
Yeah, that makes sense. Let's do, I'm going to do a weird build and bolster the rotation. I'm just going to have a heavy pitching team here. We'll see how this works.
All right, there you go. All right, I'm gonna scroll down around or so here and grab Paulie G.
Okay.
So a little mini Yankee stack here. Those guys should be hitting near each other most of the year. I'm super bullish on Jason Dominguez getting a bunch of opportunity, right? I don't know that he's going to come out and smash, but I am not concerned at all about his opportunity this year, which is, part of a concern we always have with guys, right? Can they get sent back down? Or what kind of leash are they going to have? What kind of role are they going to have? They're going to be babied. And right now, the way the Yankees are constructed, I mean, and with Stanton having tennis elbow in both elbows, I mean,
who's going to take his playing time?
Yeah.
There's just nobody there.
Grisham is also already slow and always has issues.
Let's do the recap real quick. Every time I click your team, it refreshes. So I'll just have you do the verbal recap. So I'll do mine first real quick. So drafting from the 2-hole, I've currently got a 4-2-3 build, which is weird. I don't love it, but let's do something a little weird. Garrett Cole, Chris Sale, Yamamoto, and Logan Webb are the pitchers. The infield is Freddie Freeman and Jazz Chisholm. And then the outfield is Ohtani, Teoscar Hernandez, and Seiya Suzuki.
There you go.
Where
I
you
like
at?
that start. All right, I'm at 225. Yeah, so I went pretty heavy infielder here, or outfielder. Sorry. Yeah, I got Dylan Cease and Luis Castillo. Kind of don't love that Castillo pick. I'm still kind of regretting that already. I don't know who else I wanted, but infielder, we started with Bobby Witt at pick 3. We bumped up Paul Goldschmidt, hoping that he has one more year in him. Outfield, Brent Rooker, Jackson Merrill, Lawrence Butler, Jason Dominguez, and Dylan Cruz. So we got a quite young core there on the outfield in the start of.
Yeah, that's a very young outfield. Yeah, that's crazy actually.
And,
This is, I mean, it's a fun start. It's a really, really fun start. I mean, you don't have to worry about Bobby Witt at all. You'll need to bolster this infield a little bit, but this is a really, really fun start.
Everybody always makes fun of me for liking the Olds. They should see this team, right?
The exact polar opposite.
My reputation, my early reputation, has gotten me in trouble sometimes. For who I actually am on the inside. Just don't take my loud, dumb takes. Get to know me on the inside, Jason.
Yeah. You gotta know what's in the soul, really, to know someone's draft capabilities here. Yeah, so I have elected, and I don't like it, but I've elected to put my back against the wall with outfielder here because this room has taken all of them, as most stream drafts do. Real quick, I want to call out Billy's comment here that he put in the chat when we were talking about the skiing skewball teams. He's 100% right. Put you in quite a box of drafting, and they certainly won't be the best value at pitcher, even if they smash. Like, to that point, to make that construction work, you need a lot of stuff to go right, and you have to absolutely nail the late infield and outfielders. Brad loves Yamamoto at that price. I do too. I always draft with no ranks. Come on, I draft with vibes, baby. Let's go.
Yeah, I also never draft with ranks. In fact, I hate making ranks.
You've made ranks and you don't use them because it's just more fun to.
Well, I just like to see by ADP because I know who I like. I don't need to have it in order of who I like. I know.
Right. Yeah. You do enough drafts and you just kind of.
Oh, come on.
Just kind of learn.
All right. Well, we miss G-Rod and Spencer Schwellenbach ahead in the queue there for hitting a pitcher. So let's just do it. Let's bump up my guy of the year, Bryce Miller.
Okay.
Feel like I guess I didn't mean to take 2 Seattle guys. Don't hate it, obviously. But I'm ready for the Bryce Miller breakout this year.
I've gotten to quite a bit of him too, and I think I'm there. My soul, my heart wants me to take Zach Gallen at a almost round and a half discount, but this team cannot. I can't do it with this team. So I'm going to go ahead and take Jake Berger, who I don't have too much of. I keep saying I like that Texas offense, and he's basically the one that I haven't been drafting at all. And he's also the one in that lineup who could potentially hit the most home runs. So I feel like I've been sleeping on him, and I need to start working in a little bit more Jake Berger. I don't want to full fade him, which is what I've basically been doing to this point.
Yeah. I'm afraid of Zach Gallen.
Are you?
Yeah.
And why is that?
Just let's see how many. So he did throw 28 games last year. I don't know. I feel like he's in. I don't know. It might be wrong. I feel like he's injury prone, but he's had 31, 34, 28 starts the last 2 years. So maybe I'm extrapolating more than, from earlier in his career.
Yeah, I think, it's kind of weird-ish to see a guy throw, 184 innings and then 210 innings back-to-back seasons. And in this 210 inning season, they went to the postseason too. So this was really like what, 225, 230, something like that.
I mean, they went to the World Series.
Yeah. And this was the concern going into drafts in 2024, a big reason why people were fading him. And I have to look back. I don't know how in I was on him, but a big reason people were fading him was like, he just threw 230 innings the year before. Like, how many innings is he going to throw?
Yeah.
And that thesis wound up kind of playing out. But, when I just look at the type of pitcher that he is, I just think he's a very, very good pitcher. Going to strike out just a little over, one guy per inning. I like it when I see more Ks than innings pitched out of starters. He just feels safe in the range that he's in to me. That's where I bet. This whole range of pitcher though is just incredible. Like I feel like I can't miss with this range from Gallen from Glasnow to G-Rod, Bryce Miller. Like there's a ton of guys in this range that I absolutely love, and I'm just going to spread out amongst all of them.
Yeah, Billy points it out there. Yeah, he's a couple of years of declining stuff, but it's like you were telling the story. He had a pretty huge workload, and then the year after his stuff wasn't good. I mean that's an easy one to when you're making the yarn map on your wall. That's just 2 push pins and 1 yarn to get to that story.
Right. Yeah, I think I'm in the high teens on him right now, but that's just I'm in the teens on a lot of these guys, a lot of these pitchers in this range, because there's really not much in the way of bats that I like in here. I just feel like this is such a great range to start loading up on pitcher if you're kind of in slow playing it or whatever. There's a lot of arms to really, really like.
Yeah, I don't think you're saying anything there out of hand, because everybody's doing it. Like this is where all the pitchers have gone, right? Mm-hmm. I feel like our pickings at the 20th round are slim, and nobody's taking them early rounds, so they're all just sitting here.
Yeah, 20th round pitcher is pretty brutal. I honestly don't understand why Merrill Kelly is still there. Like Merrill Kelly's not incredible, but he's also not a 20th rounder. So he's a guy I've been getting to a lot. I have a lot of Gavin Williams. I'm starting to work in some Edward Cabrera. Like his stuff is great, but if he could just like stop walking everybody, like that would be fantastic. I would enjoy that.
What's a walk or two when you can get all these strikeouts, right?
Yeah, true. I'm going to ask a question, but make the pick regardless of the answer.
Okay.
Does Baltimore hate Cedric Mullins? Like, is he going to be an everyday outfielder? Because if he is, he feels great here. But if he's not, then it's questionable. I don't know what to do with him.
I mean, you can ask that question about every Orioles player other than Gunnar and Rutschman, right? Like,
yeah,
who is the everyday guys there? Where are they going to bat? Like last year, Mullins specifically, we saw him just kind of creep towards the back of that lineup as, where he was always leading off against righties, and then, towards the back. But he did not stick to the top of the lineup. I don't know, still has power and speed, right? So.
Yeah, it feels like he's a better player than the amount of playing time he gets there. Like, I don't quite understand it. I mean, we look at, and I know, looking at his fantasy points that he scored isn't exactly the best way to evaluate a player's playing time, but like almost 1,521, 1,322. These are all serviceable numbers. I believe he was hurt a little bit in 23, right?
Yeah.
And just wasn't great. And then last year, I can't remember if he really got hurt. I don't know. I just feel like he's not in the lineup every day, and I don't understand why. I feel like he's an everyday lineup kind of guy.
I mean, he's not. He's just his. Well, I mean, let's check it out. Let me pull up his splits here.
Okay.
Um,
True, he does platoon. Yeah, because he hits
I mean,
one side pretty weak.
let me switch this to career. You know, trying to narrate navigating Fangraphs here. Everybody's favorite activity.
Narrating statistics. We all love it. While you're doing that, I did go with Parker Meadows there.
Okay.
Saints took Josh Lowe, who was going to kind of be my double tap with Mullins. I don't necessarily love the Parker Meadows pick, but like he could be a Jaron Duran type pick. I'm not saying he's going to put up Jaron Duran numbers. Please don't like quote me on that. But he's going to bat at the top of the lineup. I'm assuming he's going to be in the lineup every day. He could accumulate quite a bit in Detroit. So he feels okay. I'm just not really in love with it. I'm going to get to the end of this team and I'm going to look at my outfield and I'm going to be like, I might have ruined my Ohtani to Oscar start, but we'll see.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm being incompetent tonight, but 222 average career against lefties and 264 against righties. So
Okay.
and for a period there he was a switch hitter, and since he's gone away from that, he's still been good enough against righties.
Yeah, I made, I think, a classic best ball mistake there. I made up my mind that I was going to draft an outfielder, even if I didn't like the outfielder.
Okay.
Or think he was necessarily a great pick. And I feel like sometimes I catch myself doing that and I just say, screw it. I'm just going to roll with 4 outfielders until round 17 and just hope I can put something together.
Well, I mean, if you want, listen to the second part of outfielders. You might be thinking differently about Parker Meadows.
Okay.
He was Spencer and I's preferred Detroit outfielder here to take. So we're both in on the Parker Meadows breakout this year based on what he was doing last year, and he's a guy that can, when we're like comparing him to Kerry Carpenter, like I think Parker Meadows has the ability to hit lefties more.
Okay, so Crew is saying what I said. Don't say that I said. He's saying Meadows is 2025 Duran. I was just hinting at the possibility. So if he's not 2025 Duran, Crew is the one that you should get mad at, because I was just throwing it out there. And he committed to it. So
I've seen that is not a solo statement by this group of people. That I've seen other fantasy analysts making that prediction, comparison, whatever you want this year.
I think
all right.
Like, I want to like Kerry Bonds more just because he's so fun and he's so good against righties, but I'm really worried that like he just can't hit lefties or they're not going to let him. Let's go full, close our eyes, pretend that pain doesn't exist. And we're going to go Byron Buxton to pair with Royce Lewis. And man, am I asking for it there. Woo!
There you go.
Oh, boy.
Now you can put Carlos Correa. Oh, I like it.
Give away the sauce, sheep.
I do kind of want to address that, this year's Duran sort of thing. Like the realistic probability is that nobody's going to be this year's Duran, right? Mm-hmm. If you go shout out Billy, if you look at his advance rate by player charts and his data driven strategy guide over on Spike Week, and you look like in 2022 there was 2 guys with an advance rate above 40%. Aaron Judge and Paul Goldschmidt, they were both going early in the draft. Oh, here, let me make a quick pick here before I keep blabbering on, or while I still blabber on. So whatever. Let's get this triple KC infield stack. Yeah. Okay. So then, like I said, there was two. They both came. Pick. I don't know. I'm just estimating here with our eyeballing it. Aaron Judge was pick maybe 14. Paul Goldschmidt came at about pick 40 in 2022. 2023 for advance rate, we only had two people above 40% advance rate. That was Ronald Acuna in the first round, and Matt Olson in about pick 24, right?
Okay.
There's a couple of guys that are like 35 that year, and Otani, your guy Zach Gallen that we were just talking about, and Lane Thomas at the end, who's could be considered maybe in this idea of really late outfielders that move the needle. And I'm eyeballing it again. It's like 34%, and he came basically in the last round if you wanted him. And then in 2024, we had, I guess he changed. Come on, Billy, you changed the scale on me here. This advance rate only says 30% here. Come on. But the idea is that in 2024, above, I mean, nobody really got above 40, so this doesn't really work very well. I'm gonna call out the data guy on this. Yeah, because nobody got to 40. Yeah, that's exactly it. But the idea still stands, right? There's Jarren Duran, Brent Rooker, above 30, and you look back and just there's not a track record of every year there being this guy in the middle in Duran's case or late in Rooker's case, like of a guy that has that big of an impact on advance rates.
Yeah, and especially with outfield, like it's such an important position to get early and to get right, because it just does get brutal. Now this is assault. Duran is this year's Nolan Jones. That is them's just fighting words. Cruz just being hopeful based on exposure. Yeah, I mean, you gotta take stands, in this game if you really want to try to differentiate and really try to bolster your advance rate in a unique way. Sometimes you just got to take stands on guys and hope they work out.
Yeah, that's as every year goes on in this contest. I'm getting bigger and bigger stands. I don't know. At this point, every time you get to the finals, and you're like, I don't know what I could have done to advance in these finals. Like, I just want to cheer on my guys in the regular season. So I don't know. Maybe I'm getting too nihilistic about best ball and too jaded, but I don't know.
Well, and truthfully, I mean, there's something to be said about like actually just building great teams, building a good portfolio. I'm of the mindset, just get as many teams to the dance as you can, and then whatever happens is going to happen. Billy had the highest scoring team in the entire contest last year by 500 points. Like, it wasn't even close. And it finished 4th in the first round of the playoffs. Like, it's just not fair. It's just not a fair game. So it doesn't matter how good the team is. You got to just hope you get at least one to the final. You could advance 35 teams and not get to the final based on how things just kind of shake out. So what I'm just focusing on is trying to build smart, well-constructed teams, take some decent stands. I probably won't be much more than like 30-35% on anybody, because I do want to just kind of cheer on a bunch of guys during the season and have some entertainment value out of it too.
Yeah, Oh, sorry. Go ahead. You're
Oh,
gonna take
no. Go ahead.
your
Go ahead.
pick.
You're
Nope.
good.
Nope.
I don't know what I'm gonna do, so you can talk. I'm just gonna click a name here.
No, I was gonna say I don't know. I think I'm gonna end up close to 30, 35 on the top guys, so it's not really that extreme. I mean, as I keep drafting it, it seems to be going down just naturally due to boredom and wanting to build different teams, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, that's what I've been doing, out of the back half of drafts. I mean, I've got like 25% Tatis right now because he's my preferred pick at the back of drafts, but I can't keep building Tatis, Julio, Alonso, Seager, teams over and over and over again. I gotta find a way to diversify. I don't want my combinatorial ownership to be too similar. I don't want all my Tatis teams tied to, an oft injured Seager or whatever the case may be. So that also becomes part of the equation for me, is just trying to find ways to get different within my own group of guys that I've been drafting, so I'm not building the same teams over and over again. I'm going to go. Let's do Zach Neto. Oh, shoot. I ran out of time. I thought I had more time. Well, that sucks because I don't like Jose Barrios.
Well, but hopefully he's got something still left in that tank.
Yeah. 2-round discount, I guess. Streaming and drafting is hard.
It is.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to eat up innings. I mean, we know we can feel pretty confident that he's going to eat up innings, but he's not really striking anybody out these days. There's worse pitchers to click on, but in that spot, if I was going to take a pitcher, which I wasn't, Chris Bassett is nice and boring and just feels like consistent. I don't really love him, but
at this point, that's Spider-Man meme for me.
Those I mean, really, you're right. You're right. You really are right.
I'm Lodolo upside, Eovaldi upside. I'm taking their or wait for Gavin Williams for boring. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I'm not in on either of those guys, to be honest.
I'm not. I've got some Bassett, not much. I might be at like 5%. That might be the first time I've drafted Barrios, and it was only because I was too slow. So, pick before that was Tommy Edman. I don't love Tommy Edman at 190. I do compare it to like, this is like 80% true and like 20% bit. But like, why would I draft Luis Ariz at 155 when I can just draft Tommy Edman at 190? Like, is Tommy Edman going to give me spike weeks? Probably not. But I have a Dodger stack going here. So
I think Tommy Edman's a lot more spikier.
Definitely. And I already have, I've got Ohtani, Hernandez. I've got Michael Conforto in this lineup too, who I haven't drafted before. But, like, let's just get 5 Dodgers in this lineup and see what happens.
Yeah. It's like, why not, right?
Yeah. Why not? It can't hurt to have a lot of pieces from the best offense in baseball on your team,
Yeah. So answering Justin's question there, I don't know that I'm going to max everything. I'm not usually a max guy. I've had some recent string of luck that I'm going to be drafting more than previous years. But as of now, I don't know. It also, I'm not like advanced planner. I just draft when I draft and then kind of look back like, oh, okay, maybe I need to do some more this week or whatever. But so it does depend on work obligations and that for just how far I get. And just, again, as I do this more and more, or year after year, it's like, if I don't want to draft, I don't want to force myself to draft.
Yeah, when it starts to feel like a chore, it just, like, I do this for fun. I'm not doing best ball as a means to make money because I'm probably going to lose money playing. I'm okay with that because it's entertaining. But the second it stops becoming entertaining, I have to just back off because then what am I doing it for? Just
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
Duke Dean, what's up, man? Duke
Duke.
had one of the highest advance rates in the entire Dinger contest last year. So congratulations to Duke for being awesome last year. Saints commenting, just not into any of the pitchers in that range. So you like to pull guys, like better down. Yes, I agree with that. I need to just be better at that. All right, you're up, man. What do you got?
Yep. I mean, I don't know who did it. Somebody already took Tyler Soderstrom, so I got to grab Shea Bangaliers here.
All right.
This is like the sneaky, not sneaky. There's sneakiest, not sneaky stack, I think, right now. It's the stack that everybody's calling the sneaky stack, the Oakland late guys. I think we're going to see Langoliers and Soderstrom start rising sooner rather than later. As you know, I don't know. I just feel like, well, the two places you hear baseball content on a regular, and present company excluded, the Badge Bros and Stacking Dingers, we're all talking about it. So I don't know how much that lasts.
Let's see what I'm going to do here. I did go ahead and go with the ouch, my legs hurt triple stack with Correa to add to Royce Lewis and Byron Buxton. There's no way that this can go badly, guys. A 5-6-7 build, and I really screwed myself with that Barrios auto pick, but we're gonna find a way to overcome my own stupidity. I'm gonna go ahead and get some Yainer Diaz in here. Son of a B. My clock must be not synced properly because I had 2 seconds left when I clicked the star. But that's okay. I actually don't mind Zach Neto. I am obviously, concerned with the shoulder thing.
Yeah. The lack of information is very scary.
Yes. We would definitely like to. I mean, he just started throwing. Begins throwing progression 3 days ago. That doesn't give me the warm and fuzzies that he's going to be fully ready to go.
We don't even know what procedure he had.
No,
they don't tell us. This is like Astros level of injury reporting.
Yeah, Kyle Tucker's bruised shin. That was a fully fractured leg or whatever. It was unbelievable. But I don't think it's outside the range of outcomes for Zach Neto in a full season. Especially in that, I think the Angels are going to be a really solid offense. Their pitching might suck, which is hilarious because Reed Detmers just got picked as I was saying that sentence. But I think that offense is going to be kind of nasty. It's just, Trout needs to stay on the field. If he's gone, it gets much worse. But it's not outside the range of outcomes for Zach Neto to 25, 35, 25 home runs, 35 steals, maybe a little more pop. So I don't know. He just feels like a fun little click. And I have so many Angels that I've just been stacking him quite a bit too.
Yeah, he doesn't blow you away with his power or whatever, but we saw the breakout last year. 24 years old now. When a 24-year-old is getting a 105 WRC plus by the Bat X, he's doing something right.
Yeah. Yeah. Saints is playing baseball to lose money to help with his tax hit. I think that's a viable strategy. Who knows? Maybe along the way, you might finish second to me or Sheep in this contest. Duke, of course, thanks for the kind words. Yeah, I saw your name on that list and I was like, oh, okay. Don't want to draft with Duke very often. Hilariously, Billy Jones saying drafting is y'all so much harder. Dude, these stream rooms are brutal. They are brutal. It's still fun to do this, but I don't feel good about any of these teams doing anything usually.
I mean, I don't know. Another, thing of drafting so much is, oh, wow, I did not think somebody was going to take MJ Melendez over me. That was unexpected.
Yeah.
Jay Sikora.
He's gotten you a couple times. He was the guy who took Soderstrom early too.
Aha!
Yep.
There it is.
He's on to you. And I don't know if you're gonna stack with Salvador Perez, but he took him too.
Okay. Yeah. I get that. Okay, Schuster there takes back who we're talking about in the chat there. All right.
Yeah.
I've got 766. I took Bobby first. Got all this young outfielder. I feel good about my outfielder. So, what do we want to do here? I think we're going to go with Colt Keith.
Okay. In honor of our good friend Nez, I was gonna take Bubba Chandler, but they just signed Andrew Heaney, and I'm worried.
Nah. Yeah.
Nah.
It's Andrew Heaney.
F it.
He can go in. No. Like Bailey Falter is still in the projected rotation with signing Andrew Heaney. Let's look here quick.
I'm doing it. Bubba Chandler. I'm doing
do it.
For you, Nez.
Absolutely. I mean, Andrew Heaney, he started 31 games last year. Huh. I must have blacked that part out of the season. Maybe because I wasn't watching Texas because they stunk. I was thinking that. I didn't realize he pitched that much, but okay. All right, so I'm going to take that back. Okay, maybe start getting a little more worried.
Yeah, I'm not feeling great about it, but you know what?
Yeah.
Like you said, it is Andrew Heaney. Like, yay. Not really too worried. I know Nez has mentioned he's worried about Keller getting traded too.
Yeah, so we got It's Skeens, Keller, Jones, Heaney, Falter is what roster resource now has as 1 through 5. I mean, Paul Skeens is going to pitch as much as he wants this year. I think that's their business plan is come watch Paul Skeens and then we'll trade him away. We'll get your ticket sales now. Mitch Keller. I mean, he's potential trade asset. I don't know how much that affects things. And then Jared Jones is exciting, but still a little bit unproven, right?
Yeah, I've gotten to him a couple times, more than a couple. I've gotten to him a few times. Just again, trying to be relatively flat at pitcher. Like I feel like that's the one position I'm most afraid of, being massively overweight on somebody, because pitcher injuries are usually just a way bigger deal than position player injuries. So I'm getting there a little bit, but let's recap this team I drafted here real quick, and then we'll take a look at yours as well. So I was picking from the 2-hole. I went with a 6-7-7 build. Things got a little weird because I got lost in the stream, but the pitching staff is Garrett Cole, Chris Sale, Yoshinobu Yamamoto, Logan Webb, Jose Barrios, and Bubba Chandler. I don't know how I feel about those last two. Well, I know how I feel about the Barrios pick. I don't like it, but Bubba Chandler could be fun. We'll see if he's there. Infield: Freddie Freeman, Jazz Chisholm, Jake Berger, Royce Lewis, Tommy Edman, Carlos Correa, and Zach Neto. And then the outfield is Ohtani, Teoscar, Seiya Suzuki, Cedric Mullins, Parker Meadows, Byron Buxton, and Michael Conforto. I like portions of this team quite a bit, and then I just can't stand other portions of it. Like I don't love this outfield at all. The infield I feel pretty good about, actually. Like I don't feel terrible about the infield. The first 4 of my pitching staff are just insane, and then these last 2 are question marks. So it's all right. It went okay for me.
Yeah, and I mean, this Minnesota bet that you made is like the thing that I think this lineup hinges on.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
The rest of it is all going to do what it's going to do. But if you hit on that, those guys stay healthy, and the Minnesota Twins can be good on offense with these guys, right? So
we've seen short bursts of greatness from Royce Lewis. We've seen multiple short bursts, because he always gets hurt, of Byron Buxton. And Carlos Correa has just been a very, very steady, very good baseball player for a number of years. If the injuries all work out for those three, like, I need that to happen for this team to have a chance, truly. But if that happens, like, those three guys could smash at their ADPs. It's just, there's a lot of risk there. So your team, I've got it pulled up here, so I'll just run down for you. So you picked from the 3-hole 776 build: Cease, Luis Castillo, Bryce Miller, Jared Jones, the aforementioned Jared Jones, a very smart reach for Nick Pivetta, Jackson Jobe, and Nestor Cortez. The infield: Bobby Witt Jr., Paul Goldschmidt, Vinny Pasquantino, Dansby Swanson, Jonathan India, Shea Langoliers, and Colt Keith. And then your outfield is Rooker, Merrill, Lawrence Butler, Jason Dominguez, Dylan Cruz, and Jordan Walker.
The
Just being
all
honest.
youth outfield.
All youth. I mean, this is the youngest. This is about, I'm not kidding, this is about the youngest outfield you could possibly draft. Truly. Like, you'd have to really try to draft an actual functioning, don't get the draft tossed out outfield room. That would be.
Well, you could start that one draft that we did this afternoon. Somebody hit Merrill Churio on the 1-2 turn.
That's true.
So that could be the start of the total youth outfield.
I like your team much more than mine. This is a very well built. This is a very well built team. I think it's very, very smart. You clearly had a plan that you executed with the Kansas City stack and stacking the 2 Oakland guys too. This is a great team. I like it a lot.
All right. Well, we'll split. That I don't even know what you make when you advance. We'll split $10.
Let's do it.
I'll send you a gift card to McDonald's or something for $5.
Can you get anything for $5 these days? I don't know.
We can't do that. We're going to sound way too old if we have that conversation. What's the price of eggs? We can't do that.
No, we can't. Let's see. We had a couple of people, well, a few people here in the stream tonight. So let's. I want to look at Billy's team. One of your cohorts on the stacking dingers. He was in the 9-hole. He went 7-6-7. Pablo Lopez, Hunter Brown, Tanner Bybee, Spencer Arrighetti, Mitch Keller, Christopher Sanchez, and Gavin Williams. The infield: Ellie, Pete Alonso, Willie Adames, Tovar, Cal Raleigh, Yainer Diaz. And then at outfield: Julio, Riley Green, Brenton Doyle, Colton Cowser, Matt Wallner, Lars Nootbaar, and Trevor Larnach. Your boy loves his Rocky stacks.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I've been, every analyst that comes out touting the Toglia breakout, it's been a few the last few days. We keep sending it back and forth to each other and laughing.
I had a question in the chat here. Where did Trout go? 35. That is an early Trout. You went Gunnar, Schwarber, Trout. That's interesting. Yeah. Guys, thanks for coming out and hanging out with us. I don't think we're gonna do another one. We'll go ahead and call it an evening here in a minute. If you can, on your way out, I would greatly appreciate it if you could like the video. If you don't subscribe to the channel, you like what you saw, go ahead and subscribe. I try to stream at least once or twice a week. More importantly, you need to subscribe to the Stacking Dingers channel, and you need to subscribe to Dark Sheep's channel as well. The Sheep Seats is the very first streaming program that I ever saw when I first started playing best ball.
Wow. I'm sorry to hear that for you.
And so I owe my best ball exposure start to you, my friend. So I always and when I started doing this, I mean, you were gracious enough to have me on after I had done a grand total of 2 streams. You are a great ambassador for the MLB best ball period.
Thank you.
The content creation space, you've had a lot of people on that you're wanting to give exposure to, wanting to introduce people to, or whatever. And I think that that's awesome. So
yeah, if seriously, if you want to do anything for MLB best ball, tag me in it. I'll share it. You want to come talk tomorrow. I think the next couple of sheep seats are booked. Tomorrow, Bernie's gonna come back and we're gonna redo the DK draft. The one where you take a drink every time he mispronounces a player's name.
Sweet.
And hopefully because that was the team that I drafted and made to 11th place last year. So hopefully we can do that again. And then the week after, I made a commitment that I'm starting to regret that I didn't know that what I was getting into, but I committed to stream a NFBC auction draft for the Bubba and the Blue Listener League, and
boy.
I've never done an auction draft before, and I've found out that they can take 4.5 to 5 hours. So,
well, if you
that could be a train wreck.
If speaking of train wrecks, if you need any entertainment along the way, or somebody who has absolutely no idea what they're doing in that space too, I'll try to at least hop in the chat and give you something to read at least while you wait to not bid on players that you don't like.
Yeah, and when it goes poorly, then I can blame that I was streaming. So I kind of built in a safety net, I guess.
Yeah, that's what I do with all these teams that I stream. Like I haven't really liked a team in a couple of weeks that I've streamed, and it's because I'm streaming. It's not because I'm bad at this. That's what I tell my wife when I get off. It's just the stream was fun. The team was bad because of the stream, not because I'm bad.
You don't need to share what you tell your wife when you get off. That's for your own.
As soon as I said that, I knew I had set myself up. So, it's all right. It's all right. No regrets. All right, guys. Sheep, thank you for coming out. Again, I really appreciate you hopping on with me. This is always a great time.
Yes, I'm glad we
subscribe.
Oh, sorry.
I was going to say, make sure you subscribe to his channel, his own channel, and the Stacking Dingers channel, guys. Sheep, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say thank you for finally, we've been talking about this for a few weeks, and it worked out tonight. I was not recording another episode, so yeah. Outfielder part 2 tomorrow, pitchers next week. Yeah,
check it out, guys.
Just draft. Everybody get out there and draft.
Just draft. We'll be out here. All right. Thanks again for hopping in, everybody. Watching this after the fact. Appreciate you. We will catch you on the next one sometime next week. Until then, see you later, guys.